Today I'd like to talk to you about a simple ingredient that's used everywhere in cooking around the world. It's fundamental in almost every cuisine and ubiquitous in cooking everywhere. I'm talking about the simple onion. This little vegetable has some amazing properties that I think you'll find fascinating. My name's Chef Jeremy with Lineage Culinary, and today we're talking all about onions. Onions are a part of the genus Allium, which includes garlic, leeks, and chives. These plants all share a characteristic pungent, strong, and sulfurous flavor. The strong flavor of alliums comes from a chemical defense mechanism to prevent animals from eating the plants. As the plant grows, it takes up sulfur from the soil and produces chemical irritants which are stored in the cell fluid. The plants also produce an enzyme that is stored in a separate storage vacuole. When the cell is damaged by chopping or chewing, the enzyme and sulfur compounds mix and chemical reactions begin to occur. These reactions release sulfuric compounds into the air and produce new compounds, which give the allium its pungent taste and smell. Certain alliums, like onions, shallots, leeks, and chives, contain another enzyme that produces a potent airborne chemical which encounters your eyes and nose and breaks down into acid. This is the mechanism that makes you cry when you cut onions. Cooking changes the flavor of onions from raw and pungent to a complex, sweet, and savory flavor that adds depth to many dishes around the world. When the pungent sulfuric compounds are heated, they convert into milder, more savory and meaty flavored compounds. In addition, cooking releases the natural sugars in the onion to produce more sweetness. When onions are sautéed in the presence of fat, the sugars begin to caramelize and produce more complex flavor and aromas. Onions have a unique ability to go from a harsh and pungent flavored plant when eaten raw to a subtle, meaty, savory, sweet, and rich flavor when cooked. This is why onions are so common in cooking across the globe. There are two major categories of onions in the U.S., defined by season and harvesting methods. Spring onions are planted in the fall and harvested next spring. These onions are milder in flavor and more perishable. They should be kept in the refrigerator. Spring onions have smaller bulbs and green leaves that are edible. Storage onions are harvested in fall. They are drier than spring onions and will hold in a cool, dry place for several months throughout the year. These onions are rich in sulfuric compounds, so they have a stronger flavor and larger bulbs than spring onions. Common storage onions include yellow, white, sweet, and red onions. Yellow, or Spanish onions, are the most common in the U.S. They have large yellow bulbs and are very versatile. If a recipe does not specify, use this type of onion. They also caramelize well. Sweet onions have names that vary by region in the U.S. Vidalia in Georgia, Walla Walla in Washington State, and Maui in Hawaii. These onions are grown in soil with low amounts of sulfur, so the resulting onion has a milder flavor. Sweet onions can be used in salads or as a garnish. Great when you want raw onion flavor, but more subtle and mild. Red onions have a strong, spicy, peppery flavor to them. They go well when you want to add pungency and are often used in salads and as toppings for burgers. They have a nice purple reddish color, which can be useful to add color to your dishes. Red onions work well when pickled, roasted, or grilled. White onions are popular in Mexican cuisine. These onions are strong but have less of an aftertaste. White onions go well in salsa, guacamole, ceviche, and tacos. Green onions have long green leaves with a small white bulb. These onions are milder in flavor overall. The white bulbs and green leaves are all edible. Green onions are used heavily in Asian and Mexican cuisine and go great sliced and added raw as a garnish. So I think a question a lot of people have is, how do I stop the tears when I cut an onion? And there's a few ways you can do that. One of those ways is with temperature. The reactions that produce the sulfuric compounds in onions are slowed by colder temperatures. Putting your onions in a freezer or refrigerator to cool them down before slicing can reduce the tearing. It's important to know that storing onions in a refrigerator long term is not recommended. Onions will deteriorate faster when refrigerated. So best practice is to store them in a cool, dry place. Once you have cut the onions, store them covered and refrigerated. Another way is rinsing. As you cut the onions, storing them in cold water will help diffuse those sulfuric compounds and reduce the ability to produce tears. This will protect your eyes. This is also a good way to remove some of the pungent flavor if you're serving them raw. And the last way, and this is my little secret, is something that covers your eyes like contact lenses or goggles will help shield your eyes from the irritants in the air. Now, I cut onions at home all the time, and my wife starts crying, and she always asks me how I don't tear up, and she thinks it's because I'm this tough guy chef, but really it's because I wear contact lenses, and I don't tell her that, but now she's probably gonna find out. And that's all about onions. I hope that was helpful. If you'd like more information, please visit lineageculinary.com. And if you like the video, please share, like, follow, subscribe. It helps people find our content. We're trying to grow our channel. My name's Chef Jeremy, and as always, thanks for watching.